let's get on this. Okay. Oh man, we last streamed this October 14th. Yikes. Okay. On chapter 8 of I Don't Know. Review the plot thus far. You know what? It's been apparently a month. That might help. Yusuke Sasaki, age 15, was found dead with a paper bag with a smiley face drawn on it over his head. The scene was similar to those of unsolved murders from 18 years ago, as well as the urban legend of the Smiling Man. While at Kufuku Station, searching for clues about Minoru Suzuki, you encounter Detective Kamehara working the case. You decide to help Kuze by searching for Makoto in parallel with your investigation of Minoru Suzuki. Meanwhile, Ayumi finds Fukuyama spying on Megumi's home and decides to talk to him about it at a coffee shop. Ayumi tells Fukuyama about the Smiling Man, and he shares a story from his father's hometown of Arumo Village involving a smiling paper bag. Fukuyama can't recall details, but says it was a sad story and had nothing to do with a killer wearing a paper bag. Fukuyama says Kohai Takaguchi, a student close to Yusuke, wants to talk to Ayumi. You visit Minami Daisan Junior High School the next day, hoping to meet with Kohai yourself. Alright. Okay, so I think I understand where we're at. Okay, who am I right now? I guess let's talk. I'm Suzero. Thank you for taking the time to see me. I know you must have been, or must have a busy schedule as a teacher. No, it's my job to help the kids in any way that I can. And that means helping you. Why don't we go inside and talk? It'll be better than standing around here. That's fair. Please, come this way. Right, yeah. We made Ayumi not investigate this leg because we're worried that Fukuyama here might be hitting on her. That's right, I remember now. Alright. I'm sorry you had to see that embarrassing scene the other day. It's okay, teachers have a lot on their plates. Well, it's true, but I normally thrive when I'm busy. Oh, what do you mean? Well, I mean, it can be tough to work with kids at this age. They're immature, unstable. Yeah, I guess kids at any age, really. But when I think of the future I'm helping them build, it brings a great joy. Ah. Teaching is definitely my call. My students have helped me realize that. Seems like he'd be a cool teacher. Well, thank you again for taking the time today. Yes, my pleasure. So what were we here to talk to you about? So, how has Megumi been? Well, she still hasn't been back to school. I went to visit her the other day, but I didn't think she was ready, and just as I was turning around to leave, I ran into Tachibana. Did she tell you about this, by the way? She mentioned that she ran into you, yeah. Did she say anything else? Just that you were a dedicated teacher who's really focused on his students. I see. Good old Tachibana. She's too nice. Too nice in what regard, sir? Okay. Let's ask about Megumi. I called Megumi's house today and spoke to her parents. They say that she's slowly improving. I hope I haven't burdened you with worry. No, not at all. I don't even know the girl. He seems genuinely concerned about his students. I bet he's a really good teacher. So why is Ayumi always giggling about him? I thought I was here to investigate a murder case, not my coworker's affections. And If you notice anything else, or maybe, I don't know, pretending to not Megumi, we already asked about that. Yumi, perhaps? Oh no, I consider myself really lucky. And how many people find their one true calling? Funny, isn't it? Oh, yeah, I think it's great. Yep, just what I'd expect the detective to say. Huh? How so? Hey, have you seen this man? Say, is that a drawing of someone? This is a drawing of someone named Minoru Suzuki. Do you recognize him? No. I've never seen his face before. I see. Okay, well, you gotta ask everyone you meet. Part of the job. Megumi is slowly but surely getting better. Like, any further observations? I feel I was born to be a teacher. Perhaps it's foolish, but it's what I believe. Okay, let's look around. There's a sofa! That's suspicious. It's a fine sofa, but I always sit on the edge of my seat at times like this, so it'd be wasted on me. Does he look normal? Mr. Fukuyama is keeping an eye on the clock. I mean, he might have a meeting or something to get to. I'm sure he's a busy man. I can hear students outside. Sounds like they're in the middle of gym class. Well, is it still gym class if it's just happening outside instead of in the gym? What time is it? I guess it's not quite 12:30 yet. I wonder, are kids still in class? Don't worry, fourth period is almost over. Kohei will come straight here afterward. I'm curious to meet this Kohei Takaguchi. So, what's this Kohei fellow like? What was his relation to the victim again? He's still in class right now, so you'll have to wait just a little longer. Okay, any other observations? Well, in moments like this, I think we'll just use the phone. Let's not use that here. Never mind. Right, I forgot. It's the, like, 80s or 90s or something. We don't have the social, it would be a major social faux pas to pull out the phone in this time period. Unlike now, where it's basically a social faux pas if you don't. Like, these days, if everyone's sitting around the table at a restaurant, and 3 of the 4 people pull their phone out, the one who didn't is the one who's a bit of a jerk. Like, why the heck are you not just reading Twitter or watching TikTok or what have you? What, you want to actually interact with me here at this social gathering? I don't think so. Come on. Interact with random strangers who will never even know your name or your face halfway across the world. That's how we socialize in the 21st century. Thanks, Zuckerberg. Seems like Kohei was one of Isuki's closest friends. Still, I did hear a rumor that the 2 of them had a falling out over a Megumi. Love triangle, maybe? And it is middle school, so about the right time for those sorts of things to be blossoming. I wonder what kind of student he is. I'm gonna keep thinking on that. Let's ask out Kohei. Okay, we'll ask him again. Yeah. Dig deeper. I hear that Kohei was a close friend of Isuki's. Is he also a good student? Yes, Kohei is a reserved and serious student. He is also a close friend with Megumi. When I think about how Kohei offered to help Isuki with his grades, I just can't. Please, Ishigami, you've got to solve this case for Isuki. Of course, I'm doing my best. That was quite the reaction. He's really focused on his students. No, Ishigami. While we're waiting for Kohei, I need to ask you something. Yes, what is it? I'm told that you'll be meeting with Tachibana at some point today. And we are co-workers, we generally like to keep each other informed as to the goings-on with regards to the cases. Does she need to check in with you somehow? Are you her boss? Is she reliable? Well, no, we're co-workers. We're kind of mutually working on the case together. No, Yumi, I mean, Tachibana is very talented and not her boss. We're just co-workers. Just co-workers. Oh, I see. That's good to hear. A relief. Do you not think I'd be cut out for upper management? Because I'll tell you what, I may not have gotten the chance yet, but if I ever get promoted, this agency is going to the next level. Huh? What are your intentions with Ayumi, if you don't mind me asking? I can't help but wonder. How's Ayumi doing as a detective? And are you guys making sure she's compensated fairly? I mean, you know, fairly is in the eye of the beholder. We pay a competitive wage. Competitive with who? That's a classified information, but... I mean, she seems like she's doing a great job, but I'm just curious. Please don't tell her I asked. She'll scold me for meddling again. He sure does keep a close eye on Ayumi. What if I've like completely misread the situation? It's not like, oh, he's into her. It's like, oh, it turns out he's like her second cousin, thrice removed or something. And just kind of looking out for his relatives. Like, oh, is she doing well? Okay, she'd better be. Because if not, I've got some connections you don't want to mess with. Tachibana is one of my favorite school memories. I guess a weird way of phrasing it, of like calling a person a memory, but I guess it makes sense. Like, oh, we had good times together. What's this? What does that even mean? Sorry, Adobe Acrobat was acting up on my computer. Luckily, it's the one that I'm just using to monitor the streams and chats, not the one that's actually streaming, so we should be fine. Yes. Any observations regarding that? I worry too much sometimes. It's a relief to hear that you can count on her. By the way, how old are you, Ishigami? How old am I? I forget. Oh, I'm 19 years old. Same as Tachibana. Oh, I thought you were a bit younger than that. A bit? How much younger could I be? I mean, 19. Like, I guess I could be 18 and working at the agency, but did you think they were employing minors? When I saw you at the police station, I figured Tachibana was older than you. So I was surprised to hear you actually started at your agency before Tachibana. Oh, well, I mean... Is he suggesting that I'm childish? I mean, it's all too obvious he's older than me, but come on! Alright, let's have a little think about this. Think about how he's insulted my honor as a man. Well, he says Tachibana all the time. It's starting to get on my nerves. So, Tachibana... Well, I can't remember if Ayumi or Tachibana is her, like, family name. So, which one would be the one that's, like, overly familiar? Presumably Tachibana is the one that would be overly familiar if that's the one that I'm annoyed by. Or who knows, localization could be just not have factored that in at all. Like, cause yeah, it's one of those things, cause with Japanese, obviously it's a lot of Asian cultures in general, the family name is given more, prominence, right, to the extent that, like, unless you're particularly close to someone, you're probably more likely to call them by their last name than their first name. And there's that to an extent in, like, European sort of cultures, right? Like in a formal setting, I'm going to say, hey, Mr. Last Name, Mrs. Last Name, how are you? Senator Last Name. But, you know, generally amongst, like, you know, casual friends or acquaintances, it's normally fine to be on a first name basis with someone, whereas I believe in Asian cultures that's less so the case. First name basis is like, you're really close. What I'm getting to, though, is sometimes different localization teams will handle that differently. Sometimes they'll be like, well, in, you know, Western cultures, it's more common for first names to use, so we'll just use all the characters' first names. Danganronpa is the game translation of Danganronpa does that. The anime, because I've seen the first season of the Danganronpa anime as well, doesn't do that. It keeps the characters as generally referring to each other by last name, which was kind of confusing, but watching the two. Which is fine, I don't mind it. The only thing that annoys me, though, is if the first name, last name thing, how it works in Asian cultures, is relevant to the plots, and then you miss out on that nuance. Right, so I've seen some instances where it's like a rom-com or something, and one of like the plot beats is like, oh, Senpai is finally calling me by my first name, it's so cool, it makes my heart flutter. But then in the English translation, it's like, oh, well, we were always calling you by the first name, so now we gotta pet names. He's calling you by a pet name now, that's what's going on. But anyways, point being, I don't mind either way, but you gotta make sure you keep the nuance. If there was nuance conveyed, messages conveyed, you gotta keep it, I'd say. Now let's think about this. Okay, yeah, so, presumably then we should ask about Ayumi. So, as a teacher and as her former senpai, what was Ayumi, Tachibana, like? Good question. I'm proud to have known her. You should have seen her with a naginata in her hands. She shined. Naginata is that a sword? It's either a sword or a bow. No, is that this like Japanese style spear with like the sort of blade at the end? I think that's what it is. If anyone in chat wants to fact check me, I'm more than open to it. I see. And needless to say, she was beautiful, like a classic work of art. If I could, I'd revisit those days, but I know it's impossible. Well, technically for us, it's not impossible, because we could just play the first... Well, I'm assuming the first, like, 2 games cover this time period. I could be completely wrong about that. Who knows? Maybe Yumi was introduced for the first time in this game, and it was actually our male protagonist that exists in the previous 2. Who can say? Well, other than people who've played the original 2 games, but we don't count those here, because we're playing this for the first time without any background context. Huh. It's interesting to hear these details about Ayumi when she was young. I genuinely feel pity for anyone who didn't grow up alongside young Tachibana. Okay, I mean, come on. Like, I'm sure she was a nice person, but it's not like she was food or shelter or something, right? She in terms of Milo's hierarchy of needs, she's like probably even beyond self-actualization of what you want to be seeking for. Or Maslow's. I think it's Maslow's, not Milo's. Whatever. Of course that's stupid, I know. Naginata Club, well, that sounds fun, let's talk about it. I'm actually 4 years older than Tachibana, so technically I was in the club with her. 4 years older? And there would have been barely any overlap between your school careers in that event, right? Middle school maybe, but I think Japanese high schools are 3 years, I believe. So maybe this is in reference to middle school. So I was in high school, but I went back to the middle school just to see Tachibana. Uh-huh. Okay. That's normal behavior. What? I'm kidding, but my school didn't have a Naginata Club, and I wanted to stay in touch with the sport. Yo, actually, that's something I was mulling over in my own life a bit, because I moved recently, as you can tell from the differing setup from previous streams. Anyways, so the city I used to live in had a couple professional sports teams. The city I currently live in doesn't have any teams on like the professional, like top tier level. Like, well, they might have some professional, but if they'd be like minor leagues. We don't have any of like the big league sports here. So I was wondering though, like if I ever wanted to just go to a game for just the recreation, I was like, where would I go? Like, I think there's like minor league baseball here, but I'm not really a baseball fan. I'm like, if I wanted to attend like a football game, like I don't know, I guess I could maybe go to like a high school football game, but then I was thinking like, is that weird? Is that weird for just some random single guy who doesn't have any connections or ties to the high school or the student body or anything to just kind of show up and watch the local high school team play? I don't know, maybe not. I've never done that before. I haven't even watched in the high school games where I had some sort of connection to the school or the team. Not that I was like super seriously considering it, but I don't know. Could be fun sometime. I just need to make sure, if I do it, I need to make sure it's like not some crazy social faux pas that makes you some sort of weirdo. Anyways, I'm kidding, but my school didn't have a Naginata club, so I wanted to stay in touch with the sport. Sure you did. Oh, I see. That excuse certainly holds up to scrutiny. You really caught me off guard with that. I hope I didn't yelp too loudly. Oh, that feeling of stepping into a sacred dojo. Your muscles tense and your focus tightens. I'll never forget it. Do you have any martial arts? Or do you do any martial arts, by the way? Yes, a little karate. Karate, interesting. I know it's... So you know the feeling. How it resonates with those of us dedicated to the martial arts. I wouldn't say I'm very dedicated, but... Karate, you said? I'd love to spar with you sometime. Naginata versus... bare hands? Like, don't get me wrong, like, you know, the underdog can win every once in a while, but the Naginata, I believe, again, I think it's like a big, like, spear, I think. That's tough. Granted, of all of the weapons to go up against, like, because I've got some experience with the martial arts, as it were. And I will say, of all the different types of weapons to go up against, a polearm is actually... would probably one of my preferences. Like polearm versus like knife. I'm going polearm like every time. Yes, the person with the polearm has the reach advantage. However, if you can get inside of it, if you can like, you know, parry, get around it, and like get within its range, get a hand on the shaft, at that point the polearm actually doesn't matter all that much. Whereas with a knife, you know, that knife is going to be deadly at no matter what. Like, unless you can disarm your opponent. No way that's happening. I guess we can ask our Naginata club? When I went back in to check with the club after I graduated, I was shocked. Oh. There were suddenly so many boys enrolled, even though Naginata Club is usually mostly girls. You know why, don't you? Don't say it's Yumi. Don't say it was because of a Yumi. I have no idea, or because Tachibana joined the club. I mean, like, we know where this conversation is going. Because Tachibana joined the club? Oh, I should have known a skilled detective like you would have no problem with that. Impressive. It's not because I'm a detective, it's because I know Tachibana. She just got a magnetic personality. So any observations about that? It's funny, when I used to watch Tachibana practicing her stances, It was like the whole world darkened and all I could see was her. Is that normal? And yet inevitably some buffoon would walk past and break my line of vision. What in the world is he going on about? Let's think about this. I'm not sure how any of this relates to the case even slightly, but Mr. Fukuyama is kind of an odd duck. Let's ask about Ayumi. So you're captivated by her stances. Would you say your relationship with Tachibana is strictly as a coworker, Ishigami? I mean, we're friendly in general. I'm not sure saying it has happened, but if we, got lunch outside of the office at some occasion or went out for drinks or something, I would not be disinclined. Well, yeah, I mean, we are coworkers, and I see. What a waste. That's not the reaction I was expecting. I was expecting more relief. Oh, thank goodness, my competition is, sitting on their laurels. Sure, you're not immune to radiant charms, hmm? Why did he say it in such a threatening tone? What's with this guy? So, is Kohei on his way, or? Huh. I think fourth period just ended, so let's give him a moment. Yeah. Okay. Hey, so I was talking to Ayumi. She said that you two first ran into each other again in front of the school? Yes, that's right. I hadn't seen Tachibana since her time in our middle school Naginata Club. I didn't know her in high school, unfortunately. I can only imagine how she must have been, or how she must have blossomed. Those high school days are gone forever. Frankly, it breaks my heart. I mean, you're what, 4 years her senior? Look, it never would have worked. Come on, man. What's the alternative? Would you have intentionally flunked some of your classes so you had to repeat a grade? I wouldn't put it past him, actually. He gives off that sort of vibe. I see. Well, I knew Ayumi when she was in high school, and I even have a picture of her from then. Take that. I obtained it purely for investigative purposes. She pretended to protest a bit, like, oh no, give it back, I look so silly. It's embarrassing. But at least I have my memories of Tachibana from middle school. Time moves on. We must accept that. Let's think about this. He seems quite proud of himself. I'm sure it won't be the same as actually growing up with Tachibana, but... What is that expression? Feel free to ask me any questions about her from back then. Oh, have I got some stories. Well, I mean, we got time to kill, I guess. Ask her anything if she got me. What do we think of a question to ask? Mr. Fukuyama may know a lot about Ayumi from way back before I met her. But I know a lot about her from high school days that he'll never know. I won't lose. Oh, what is this going to be, a Ayumi trivia off? Hopefully not, because I haven't played the previous game, so I'll have no idea what they're referencing. I feel like I've got the best of him. Oh, yeah. Show superior friendship with Ayumi. I present my friendship with my coworker. Take that! Actually, Mr. Fukuyama, I I met Tachibana when she was a freshman in high school. There was a police case. I'll spare you the details, but it's what led her to this line of work. I see. She made quite an impression in her sailor suit. Sailor suit? Right, isn't it like Japanese school uniforms are based on like naval officer uniforms, right? Something like that? Or naval uniforms for some reason? I mean, I guess they are an island country, so fair enough. Remember when you said you pitied anyone who didn't know Tachibana growing up? Yeah, I know. Anyway, your words, Yes? Do you happen to have any photos of Tachibana from that time? Look, I'm not saying you can't hit on her now. Like, whatever, try your best, man. Shoot your shot, I guess. But, what, you're a guy who, you must be, if you're 4 years older than Tachibana, so you're in your early to mid-20s, and you're asking for photos of her when she was in high school, possibly as young as a freshman? I mean, I'm sure there's nothing untoward, but not the best look. Yes, I have one, but I had it for investigative purposes. It's not like I carried it around with me. Besides, I see her every day. Unlike some people here. This feels weirdly like a victory. Oh, oh, you're here. Come on in. Hey. This must be Kohei, right? He's wearing gym clothes, so it makes sense that his fourth period was PE. Physical education. He came straight here without changing. I guess he didn't want to keep me waiting. How considerate of this young man. Allow me to introduce Kohei Takuguchi. This is Ishigami. You can just call me Kohei. Nice to meet you. I'm Ishigami from the Utsugi Detective Agency. I was hoping to ask you some questions at Usuki. Thanks for taking the time during your lunch break. Sure. I know it's difficult, but anything that you can share could help us solve the case for Usuki. That said, I might ask some tough questions. Are you okay with that? Yeah, that's okay. Alright, well first let me show... Oh, I can't show my superior friendship with Ayumi. Dang. Well, I guess we can start with a sketch, just in case. What is this? Do you recognize this person named Minoru Suzuki? No, I don't know him. Interesting. Dang, I thought he might. You and Isuki were good friends, weren't you? Yeah, we go way back. We've been friends since elementary school, even though we're, like, opposites. I guess some people couldn't figure out why we'd be friends. I mean, sometimes I wonder at myself, but we always got along so well. I see. Anyway, I think I probably knew Isuki better than anyone. I really appreciate that you're helping us out like this. Thank you, Kohei. Yeah, sure. You're a good friend to Isuki for doing this, Kohei. Anything else you can tell me, Isuki? Do you know if Isuke had any other problems? Maybe someone holding a grudge against him? There's no way. I mean, he was way too nice for that. He got along with everyone. I see. I see. That's exactly what all of his teachers said. Seriously, no one disliked him. Any observations? Is there anything else at Isuke's behavior that caught your attention recently? Let's see. I mean, his grades are down, and that school that he wanted to get into is really tough. But he seemed totally unconcerned, like he didn't mind at all. As if he knew the whole point was moot anyway. More about his grades. Huh. I can tell you haven't liked Isuke. Let's think about this. So the grades are down, but that's no reason to die. Let's hear what Kohei has to say. But knowing Isuke, I can't imagine he didn't really care about his grades, you know? Like me, he was already thinking of his future while he was in middle school. He must have been in shock, right? I can't help but think that Isuke had to have been bothered by his grades slipping. Interesting. Why wouldn't he be? Was Isuke concerned about his slipping grades or not? I guess one thing about Isuke is that he always played it cool, never showed vulnerability. Even with his grades, he acted like it was no big deal. So if he had been in some kind of trouble, he could have made sure that no one else knew about it. I mean, he'd whine to me about random things every so often, but other than that, it was business as usual. Guess I'm not sure how he felt deep down, even though he was my best friend. Maybe I didn't know Isuke all that well after all. I guess that's as much info as I'll get about Isuke. Or Isuke. Oh, but I should definitely ask about Megumi. They were all friends and classmates. Can I ask about Megumi Morimoto? Yeah, I guess. We've been friends for a long time too, since grade school. She's in the same class as me now. Sounds like all three of you were pretty close. Yeah, but I'd say Isuke and Megumi were especially close. Well, they did fight kinda a lot, probably because they both just said whatever. Yeah, like brother and sister almost, but they always wake up and be back to normal. Is that all? Megumi hasn't been to school in a while, even the day when we heard at Isuke. Any observations of the relationship? Guess that's a no. We're gonna keep asking Megumi. Gotcha. Megumi hasn't been to school in a while, even the day when we heard about Isuke. We'll ask about Isuke. See, now I said Isuke and got along with everyone well. Megumi was kinda special. I think he had a crush on Megumi, but I don't know how she felt about him. Any suspicions? What do you think of Megumi? What do I think? Maybe I should have phrased that differently. And she's cheerful and bright. Anything else? Anything else? I guess she likes creepy books. Yeah, like occult stuff. I'm not really into it. Kinda wish she'd stop trying to scare me with creepy stories all the time. That seems a bit different from the gossip I've heard. We're just into different things, you know? Maybe if we just chat a bit, he'll loosen up and start spilling some of that gossip. No gossip of that kind, I don't know. Maybe we should ask more probing questions. Keep pressing this angle or back off on the questioning. This could be an important choice. So I could keep pressing. Gotta stay focused. Keep your head in the game. Get that info. Where there's smoke, there's fire. So I suppose I better just clear this up. Here goes nothing. Speaking of Megami, would you say that you also like her? Yes. We are friends after all. Oh. Oh! I'm just a friend! Is that what everyone is asking me about that lately? Do they all mean? Oh, look, let me just clear this up. I've got a crush on a girl with braids that I see in the library. Ah! Hey, sorry about that. Look, you don't need to divulge any more information. The braided girl in the library is outside the scope of this investigation. His answers feel really genuine to me. It's too bad people are probably gossiping about this. Let's think about this. Middle school's a tough time. These kids have a lot on their minds. Any observations? You know, now that I think about it, Isuke did say that he thought Megami had been a little cold lately. He wondered if she liked someone. Fugami, you want to go get a cough drop? Step out of the room for a bit? Don't worry, I won't like assault the child or anything while you're gone. Sir, are you okay? Yes, I'm fine. Please keep going. Okay. Hey, it seems like he was actually serious. Thinking back, it was out of character for him. So, was that everything you wanted to say, Koei? Yes. I see, very well. I suppose you can head back to the classroom now. Unfortunately, he didn't really give me any new information. But it was brave of him to come forward and talk to me on behalf of his friend. Koei, I'm proud of you for having the courage to talk to the detective about all this. Now then, you'd best head off to eat lunch, because otherwise, I'm going to eat it myself! Sorry, I couldn't resist. Good job, Koei. Go on then, get dressed properly. Back to you, Ishigami. There's one other thing I want to discuss if you have time. Okay. Hey, did Isuke... Did he really get killed? I mean, what do you think? You don't? You think we're just doing this investigation for fun? You think we're trying to, like, pull one over on the student body here? Like, it wasn't a suicide or anything. Oh, that's what you mean. I mean, we haven't ruled out suicide. No, actually, we basically have ruled. Well, suicide seems unlikely. Why would you think that? The last thing Isuke wanted was for anyone to pity him. Not just classmates and friends, but also his family. So if people had found out that his grades had been slipping or something, I think Isuke could bear it. Yeah, we talked about Isuke's grades slipping and how he might not get into that school. Well, Isuke actually told her himself that his teacher said he wouldn't get in if things didn't change. And he said, I'm only telling you about this. Don't say anything to anyone else. He's really tough, man. He's like, thinks maybe I'll still be at the same school as you and Megami, and he kinda laughed. I don't know what he was really feeling, but to me he seemed depressed. He was at a real low. I was worried that he'd gotten into a big fight with Megami. And now she's been out for so long, I called her to see what was up, but she didn't answer. I don't know anything about the case, and I thought maybe this detective could finally tell me about it. Anyway, I hope I didn't say anything that Isuke wouldn't have wanted you to know. But thank you. Go ahead. What you've told us is really valuable. Maybe Isuke's feelings were stronger than anyone knew. Is that why Kohei asked about suicide? As a close friend, maybe he noticed something others didn't. But still. And I guess... like, it's been a bit, so I forget what the exact cause of death was. It was strangulation, though, right? Like, it's not that you can't strangle yourself to death. You certainly can. But you can't do that and then also set up the body like this. Like, that's logistically impossible. So, there's a lot we don't know about Isuke's case. But I know one thing for sure. We will solve the case. I just ask for your patience. I understand. Thank you. Cool, you can go back to your classroom now. It's really admirable of you to help us out. Thank you. Bye. I suppose it's time for me to go as well. Very well. I'll see you out. Thank you for your time today, Mr. Fukuyama. Of course. I hope I have been of some help. Yes, indeed. I'm impressed with Kohei. He's a great student. Sorry, yeah, I'm proud of him. Just that he's not the only one. All of my students are great. I'm sure they are. I mean, come on, all of them. There's gotta be a couple that are like slackers where you're like whipping them into shape. You're like, come on, do your work! I'm like, no, I don't want to play video games! Oh, before I go, was there something else you wanted to discuss? Oh no, it's no big deal. Forget about it. Are you sure? Okay then. I'll contact Tachibana if I think of anything else. Okay, sounds good. Likewise, if you think of anything else, please let me know. And say hi to Tachibana for me. Ah yes, I will pass that along, except I totally won't, because he's competition. It makes sense that Kohei suspected suicide. We had no idea what the crime scene was like. Or he had no idea. Given the circumstances, there's almost no way it could be suicide. Like I said, logistically impossible. But let's say Isuke was murdered and the killer knew about his recent troubles. Wouldn't it have made sense to make it seem like a suicide? What is the significance of that smiling paper bag? Oh. Hey, what are you doing over there, little girls? You snooping on the detective? Those two girls are over there talking. I feel like they're looking at me. Let's use the phone. We'll contact Yakitori Baby. Yakitori Baby. Okay, but seriously. We should call Ayumi. Give her the updates. No answer. I guess we can go over everything I heard at school when I get back to the office. Speaking of which, gotta call the office to make sure all of my investigation is logged in the answering machine. You reached the Utsugi Detective Agency. I'm sorry, but we are currently out of the office. Please state your name, number, and what we can help with after the tone. Representative from our office will contact you shortly. There's no message I want to leave right now, so that's okay. Okay, well, let's call those students over. Hey, it's that guy who was here with the detective the other day. Hey! Hold on, oh, hey. Hello. I recognize you two. You're the ones who gave me some information before. Thank you. No problem. Anyways, glad to hear that Megumi is alright. Yeah, that's great news. And I hear that Masachi is okay too. Oh, since you're here, can I ask you a few questions? Sure. Come on, no, you just gotta pull the, I'm sorry, but I cannot speak about an active investigation card. Like, that's like, in terms of, say, like, congressional hearings, that's tactic number, like, 2 behind just, tactic number 1 is, I can't recall. I do not remember. I don't have that data in front of me. But I can get back to your office on that, later on. Anyways, are you, like, the other detective's younger brother or something? Huh? Oh, are you her boyfriend? What? I mean, no, I'm her business associates. Does that mean you're a detective too? So cool. Oh, thank you. Huh, feels like closure, thank you. Good luck. Oh, did we just interrogate the detective? It says the other way around. Strange girls. Well, that was something. Younger brother? Do I look younger than a Yumi? Oh, maybe I should grow a beard, style my hair, buy some glasses, I don't know. I guess, well, let's think about all we've discovered. Do I really look that young? I can't believe they asked if I'm her boyfriend. Sheesh. Middle schoolers. What was I like in middle school? Oh, right. I was a runaway. Really? Well, that's some lore just dropped right there without any fanfare. I guess I can look at my surroundings. I think they're already gone. They're gone. I could call Detective Kamihara. Detective Kamihara can't answer because he's in the middle of an investigation. Okay, what can I do? There's no one to show it to. Think again, I guess? I wonder what it was that Mr. Fukuyama wanted to talk about at the end of there. And then suddenly wanting to drop it? That makes me extra curious. Plus, overall, I feel like his mood changed right as I was leaving. I think I'm done here at the school. I should head to the relaxed Yukariko Village retirement home now. I have to ask Yosei if I can borrow a photo of Makoto. Alright, let's go!